Welcome to another episode of the Who Dat Weekly featuring the Dirty Dev's finest, Christopher J. Spires. All right, so this is our third attempt at live streaming that we tried last night. We tried two different attempts, and both of them actually were so badly funky, I had to do it a third time. So we're back again. Let's hit that intro, baby. Let's unmute that real quick. There we go. All right, I'm gonna get better at the unmuting thing, y'all. I'm still getting used to that. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the Who Dat Weekly. As y'all know, it's always a good day to talk about Saints football. Want to know why? Because it's a glorious day. That's right, baby. Who Dat, baby. All right, are you guys ready for some more football? This might be our third attempt, but I don't care. It could be 4 or 5 more attempts before I finally get this thing nailed, but I'm going to get it nailed at some point. So, anyway, so today we're going to be talking about the Saints versus 49ers matchup, as I tried the last 2 times last night for unfortunate, unsuccessful reasons. But but today we're going to talk about the matchup, and this should be a pretty good matchup coming up because a lot has happened in the last couple days where both teams have been impacted by a series of changes. Let's start with the injury report. So on the Saints side of things, Trevor Penning will be out again for a second week in a row, which we kind of figured because at this point it's week by week for him, and I predicted that he might be out for at least another 2, maybe 3 weeks tops. So he suffered like they already mentioned that he suffered a toe injury earlier in training camp and after the first preseason game, and that was most unfortunate because he really needed that time to get out there, really display what he can do for the team. So it sucks. But the other thing that kind of sucks is that Chase Young is once again out for a second game in a row, and that has me a little concerned because from what I've been hearing from last week when they announced his injury, he said it wasn't that bad. But you're now missing 2 games in a row, so we all kind of know where this story is going. You know what I mean? So not a good sign. But I will say, it does give some of our younger guys a stronger chance to get out there. Like for example, for Leo Diggs, this is probably his second game in a row where he's actually gonna be able to play for once. And then there's other guys out there like Chris Rumph, for example. He's gonna be able to take over as well. And I presume that for Leo Diggs and Chris Rumph are probably going to be rotating each other out for the majority of the game coming up. So I think we're good in that retrospect, however you pronounce that word. But at the same time, it kind of depends on this. It kind of depends how both of them play. So I didn't really notice it too badly. I feel like because Cam Jordan and Demario Davis last week did a really good job in shutting down the Cardinals and just bringing all sorts of pressure last week, I think we'll be fine. It just kind of sucks because I was really hoping to see what Chase Young is made of this season, knowing that he's probably here for the next couple of years. Fingers crossed, of course. So, but yeah. So, and then the third guy is Julian Blackmon, but that was a given. We already knew about that. So. Yeah, but now enough about the Saints injury report. Here's the one: the Niners injury report is shocking because you thought all injury history is bad. Oh no, 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 no! The Niners injury history is just as bad, if not worse. I have never seen a team that has been in multiple playoff appearances, including Super Bowls, to get constantly injured the way they have. I'll give you the rundown. So this week they have Nick Bosa. He's been limited in practice, but he's expected to play, so that nothing wrong with that. But Brock Purdy is out this week. George Kittle is out this week. Christian McCaffrey has been experiencing a lingering calf injury all this week, and really last week too. Like, they have a plethora of injuries, more than the Saints do, which is kind of shocking. So, and they already announced that Brock Purdy and George Kittle are out for this week, with both, I believe, Brock Purdy has some kind of shoulder injury. He's going to be out for 2 to 5 weeks. And then George Kittle is on IR. He won't be able to play for at least the next 4 weeks. I forget what injury he had. I don't have it on file. But yeah, so it's kind of it's looking a little rough. And if you think that's bad, then imagine how Niner fans are feeling about Imagine how Niner fans are feeling when they realize Mac Jones, of all quarterbacks, is the starting quarterback for this game against a team that everybody's projecting the Niners were supposed to mop the floor with. Now that is completely in question. In fact, you know it's in question when the betting folks out there have dropped the point percentage for the betting results. So, like, initially it was plus 14 or plus 7, whichever one it was. Now it's only plus 3 last I checked, and yikes. So yeah, it's not a good thing for the Niners fans, and they're probably sweating bullets as we speak, realizing that the Saints have a pretty stout defense, and they could definitely cause problems for the Niners offense, especially while it's being undercommanded by Mac Jones, of all people. And let me remind you, the last time the Saints played Mac Jones, this was like 2 years ago, we absolutely shut him out. And this was when, I know he was with New England, but still, it's Mac Jones. He just is not that good. But we shut him out. I think it was like 38-0 or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but at the same time, if I'm a Niners fan, I would get that alcohol ready. So, but it doesn't mean that they can't win this game. I'm just saying that without their star playmakers, especially in George Kittle, for example, that and Juwan Jennings isn't great, and Ricky Parcells, he's not that great either. They had good games last week, don't get me wrong, but I would not be banking on having those two be your star players, especially if Christian McCaffrey is kind of like on half power speed, if you know what I mean. Oh, that's another thing, which actually, I'll hold that off till we actually talk about that. So, yeah, so... And with that being said, let's go ahead and just stop talking about the injuries. Let's go ahead and talk about the matchup real quick. And I'm going to take a second to load up the screen real quick. Bear with me, y'all. There we go. So, all right. So, as y'all can see, I have to scroll up and down because I know my camera is probably blocking some of it. But, so... Wait a minute, hang on, that's the wrong screen. 1 second, gang. Let me fix that real quick. I'm not sure what's going on there. Anyway, well, hold up. Okay, so it's being stupid again. Okay, that's great. Let's see. Restart capture. There we go. Okay, we got it now. Sorry, y'all. Live stream issues. Gotta love it, right? Okay, so this is the matchups that we're gonna be talking about, with the exception, obviously, for Brock Purdy because he's not playing this week. So that'll be Mac Jones. In fact, I don't know if have they updated it since? Nope, they have not updated it. That's totally fine. So, the key matchups for this game, I think, are primarily between the quarterbacks, the both defenses, and of course both offenses. But I would say for us personally, our key matchup is not only quarterback, but also how our offensive line can handle a ferocious 49ers defense that has a lot of talented playmakers. In fact, there's two of them on this list here: Nick Bosa and Fred Warner. There's also others. If I can pull this up here we go. So they have Jordan Elliott, as y'all can see. They got Kalia Davis. They also have Mikael Williams. Now, ignore these grades here if y'all can see it on y'all's ends, but I'm not worried about that. What I do know is I have a really good friend who's a die-hard Niners fan. And by the way, shout out to Niner Beto. He's a great guy, y'all. If y'all not following or subscribe to his channel, go subscribe to his channel. Even if you're not a Niners fan like myself, I support him because he's a great friend of mine. We go way back, y'all. So me and him, it's actually a funny story. Let me talk about it real quick. So me and Niner Beto, and we met off of Facebook of all places. We met in a Facebook group, and to this day we've been we have been really good friends. And he's a diehard Niners fan. We have great football conversation. We'll trash talk occasionally, but trash talk's not really his thing. He just likes to talk football, and that's perfectly fine with me. I used to trash talk him a good bit, but I've kind of grown out of it for the most part. I don't mind doing my trash talk now and then, don't get me wrong. But yeah, so going back to Niner Beto, me and him, we've been friends since I think 2017. Maybe 2018 actually. We go way back, and I've seen him he will complain about his Niners, how bad they look, or he'll be rejoicing, or he'll talk some trash. But all in all, he's a great friend, and I consider him like a long distance brother of mine, and he's awesome, y'all. So enough about that. Enough about my good pal. All in all, go subscribe to him if you haven't checked him out. He'll give you all the information on the 49ers if y'all want to. So just to see what to expect out of the 49ers. So, but going to our matchup, let's talk about the key matchups for us. So I'm going to start with the Saints offensive line versus the 49ers front seven. So as we all know, we have our new first round draft pick from this past draft, Kelvin Banks Jr. He did really well last week. I was actually very impressed. He was actually one of the players I was trying to keep my eye on to the best of my abilities last Sunday. And I kid you not, he looked really good. Now, this game here is a good test to see what he's really made of. Can he handle Nick Bosa? Because he's likely going to be going up against Nick Bosa this entire game. This is gonna be a fun matchup, I think. So, hey, what's up, Jerry? I see you. How you doing, brother? Who that, baby? Yeah. Oh, by the way, let's give a shout out to Jerry. He's trying to get to 700 subscribers. Let's give him 700 subscribers, shall we? Alrighty, y'all. So, anyway, going back to the game. Yeah, I really want to see what Kelvin Banks Jr. is made of with the matchup against Nick Bosa, because Nick Bosa, as we know, is a beast. He has been a consistent sack leader for the last couple years, and he just got his big paycheck recently this offseason, and I kid you not, he earned it. He's a talented defensive end, very much like Cam Jordan, and he causes pressure left and right. He will blitz the hell out of you. He's a beast you do not want to mess with. And that is why this matchup with Kelvin Banks Jr. versus Nick Bosa is something to watch, especially because I want to see how he does against elite defensive ends like Nick Bosa. If Kelvin Banks can find a way to be an absolute stonewall against him, then he can go up against just about anybody. Now I'm expecting Nick Bosa to really make him look like a rookie this coming week. So I'm not expecting to be a very clean game with him, because Nick Bosa, like I just mentioned, he's a force to reckon with. But if Kelvin Banks Jr. can just find a way to just stand him up, make sure he allows little to no pressure, because he allowed little to no pressure all last week, which is a great sign. But but I need to see him go up against him because that's the key for this matchup here. So, and then on top of that, we got Fred Warner here. He had as y'all can see, he had 8 tackles last week, and Demario Davis had about 9. So Demario Davis trumps him. But Fred Warner is also one of those linebackers that you just gotta look out for because he's gonna blitz the hell out of you as well. He's gonna be calling out plays, like he's gonna be calling like orchestrating how the defense should be situated and whatnot, what blitz packages to throw at us. Like, these are guys we cannot take for a grain of salt. So, and I already mentioned they got Mikael Williams, they got Kalia Davis. Who else did they got? Let's see, they got Luke Gifford, who's also really good, and then they got D. Winters, also really good. I don't have their stats in front of me, so. But they have a ferocious front seven. So, and this doesn't all fall on Kelvin Banks Jr. Let me be clear about that. What I really want to see is how the rest of the offensive line does, and especially on the left-hand side of the ball. And I'm looking at you, Cesar Ruiz. Like Cesar Ruiz, man. I'm not gonna say he did bad. I'm not gonna say that. Hey, I didn't see you there. How you doing, Uncle Tim? Who that baby? That's my Uncle Tim. Y'all say shout out to my Uncle Tim. So, but anyway, so talking about the O line. So if we can find way, if the offensive line can find a way to give Rattler enough time to. If we can give him enough time to throw that ball around and sling it, then and also give all the run support we can get for our running backs, because we need all the help we can get, especially against this 49ers defense. They're not going to be easy to score points on. They're going to give all sorts of blitz packages. They're going to give all sorts of pressures. They're going to find ways to get to the quarterback as quick as possible. And this is why this game here is a great test for our O-line, because it's a young O-line with the exception of Eric McCoy, who is a veteran and a Pro Bowler. And also for Cesar Ruiz, even though my faith in him is kind of dwindling at this point. But that's a topic for another day. So, but anyway, that's the first key matchup in this game is their front seven versus our 5 starters on offense. So the next thing I want to talk about is the running game. Hang on, let me situate this real quick. So there we go. Our running game last week wasn't. I would say we were adequate for the most part, and I'm not sure what happened last week. Maybe we were just trying to play catch, especially how all game long we kept getting penalties after penalties after penalties. It was ridiculous. But I did notice that when we did run the ball, we were actually pretty consistent. I think we had 3-4 yards per carry. It was actually pretty solid. We ran Alvin Kamara, we ran Kendre Miller, and we also ran Devin Neal, which I was a little surprised by. I'm not sure if they'll do the same thing this week, but I think if we just find a way to utilize both Kamara and Miller. I would throw Neal in, I guess, maybe those 3. If we can find a way to utilize those guys and create lanes for them to run through, we could probably beat these guys just using the run game, because Coach Moore himself has been persistent about establishing the run game, which I totally agree with. But I don't like that we abandoned it so quickly in the last game. So, with that being said, I want the Saints to really focus on that run game, unless it just comes to the point where we simply can't move the ball against that ferocious front seven of theirs, and we just got to start passing the ball around, which we may have to. But I just want to see that run game a little more effectively is all I'm saying. So, and then the third thing to keep an eye on is, of course, once again, the quarterback. And this would be a quarterback battle between Mac Jones, who has 20 career wins under his belt. And on top of that, we have Spencer Rattler, who is making his official 8th start in the league, despite being 0-7, which we already know. The first 6 games had exceptions. But this last one, like it came down to the wire. It sadly didn't pan out. Thanks a lot, you know who. But anyway, enough jokes about that. So yeah, so like with that being said, like the thing I want to see Spencer Rattler do in this game, unlike last game, is really take shots down the field. I need him to like absolutely throw that ball around, just throw it around, like go beyond 40 yards. Like we only did it a handful of times this past Sunday, and it was fine, but they were very off target for one. And on top of that, the receivers weren't open to begin with. so like Rattler last week, as y'all can see, he was 27 for 46 for 214 yards last week against the Arizona Cardinals. Now that number might be a little less depending on how well O-line goes up against the Niners front seven, but at the same time, I need to I want to see Rattler really chunk the ball down the field more effectively against a Niners secondary that I think isn't the best, but they're not something you want to mess around with, of course. So, yeah. So and another thing I want Rattler to do is take care of the football, which he's done so far really well. Of course, it's only been one game, so I don't want to like jinx him or anything like that. But at the same time, like I want to see Rattler use his skill that he knows he's comfortable with, making plays, throwing downfield, using his legs if he has to. Like I know he can do it. I've seen him do it a few times, but I just feel like he's trying to be more of a pocket passer, which is fine. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, you're kind of like. You're mainly that kind of mobile quarterback that should be like using his legs and also his arm. So I need to see him use it more effectively. Is all I'm saying. So and on top of that, I need him to like really use his star receivers a little more effectively. We had like Rashid Shaheed didn't get. I mean, he had a few balls thrown to him, but I don't think he caught us. He might have caught like a few short passes, but. I need him to like catch the big deep balls as well, and I need him to get open a little more consistently too. And then Chris Olave, like he did his thing. I wasn't too concerned about it other than that one bad hit that he got. Please, for the love of God, don't do that again. So, but yeah, so like oh yeah, that's another thing I want the Saints to do. Get Devon Bell more action in this game. I need to see him because we gave up a draft pick for him for a reason. I need to see him get some more plays. Like he's that big body receiver that we needed so badly, and we didn't even use him once. I mean, he was out there. I saw him out there a few times, but I never saw him actually get the ball. So please use him because he has talent. We saw that last year with Denver. But I need y'all to actually utilize him. And on top of that, oh, by the way, this is news y'all probably heard by now. It's been a couple hours since it broke out. But the Saints did get a new guy. They traded for a receiver from New England. I cannot think of his name for the life of me. He's brand new, so bear with me. But he's not likely to play this season. Yeah, he's not likely to play this season at all from what I'm looking at my notes here. So, yeah, the reason why he had a shoulder injury, which kind of sucks, and he's going to be out for the rest of the season. But the good news is we only traded away a 6th-round pick, which is like, nothing. So, and, but, in fact, yeah, enough about that. So, I'm not too keen on that trade personally. This is just what I think about the trade. I don't care for it because we traded a guy who is not likely to play this season. While I understand what they're trying to do, they're trying to like get him prepared for like next, like I don't know about prepared. They're like trying to get a receiver so that way he's ready by next season when he's fully healthy and in functioning. So, because so far when I heard he has not been working out for New England whatsoever, and that's not a good thing. So maybe he'll have a better time here. Who knows? So, but Yeah. So with that being said, I just hope it works out for the best. I can't. Why can I not remember his name for the life of me? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm very forgetful. So yeah. So my score predictions for this game. This is my score prediction. So I think this is gonna be a slugfest kind of game. I think both offenses are going to struggle to move the ball down the field because both sides have pretty good defenses. Um, I think what it comes down to is which offense is actually going to be the one that breaks that other team's defense. And while the Niners, technically, I would say, might have better receivers, fingers crossed, I think the Saints might just do it because I'm basing this off how they finished last week. Because they could have just rolled over and folded anytime they wanted last week, but they didn't. They found a way to make it interesting, made it a 7-point game against the Cardinals, and they drove down that field and almost tied the game, but they were just short. They were this short. So with that being said, that's why I think that they might just do it this time around. This time they're not gonna lag around. This time they're gonna actually be that team to like break free, get either the game tying touchdown or a game winning touchdown, whichever one might be. I think the Saints will win it this week, 17-14. And you heard me here first, y'all. This is my technical first score prediction of this season. I forgot to do it last week because I'm a goofball. So, so yeah. So if you have a score prediction, leave them in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, y'all. And I would love to keep the stream going, but my Ole Miss Rebels played in like 15 minutes, so I gotta get ready for that game, y'all. So, but thank y'all for tuning in. Love you guys so much. Hit that subscribe button for more videos and updates, and of course your favorite shorts. I'm gonna try to post more shorts more frequently because that seems to get a lot of attention these days. So, yeah. So, alrighty, gang. I'll talk to you guys later. Who dat, baby?